So if you already watched my full breakdown of the May 2025 Train Sim World roadmap, you might have noticed it was packed, but it definitely didn't cover everything. That's because the live stream that dropped alongside the roadmap had a ton of extra details, a whole Q&A segment, and future plans that didn't make it into the blog post. So this follow-up video is going to focus strictly on all the stuff mentioned during the live stream, specifically the second half of it that wasn't in the official roadmap post. If you're wondering what else is coming, what fixes are in the works, or what the team is looking into behind the scenes, this video should have everything. So we begin with memory and performance, which in my opinion is probably the most important part of this video. For years, this has been a major issue, not just for some PC users, but for a large majority of console players as well. This has been a huge focus behind the scenes though. Matt confirmed they now have 5 to 6 people actively investigating blurry textures, crashes, and memory-related crashes across all platforms, especially on consoles. So hoping that things improve in the foreseeable future. We don't know how soon we're going to get actual fixes, but it is nice to know that they have a dedicated team working on these issues specifically. Matt explained that one of the biggest breakthroughs is the discovery of something called untracked memory within Unreal Engine. Basically what that means is memory dumps weren't showing everything that was actually loaded, which made debugging a lot harder. In some cases, 4 out of 6 gigabytes in use couldn't be accounted for example. So now that they know this, they're working with external Unreal developers to dig deeper into the issue. Matt also mentioned that one lead they're chasing down is tied to an extra detail setting that might be using a lot more memory than expected. And this is a setting that's been quietly enabled in the game for quite some time. One good part about them investigating these issues, especially if you're a PC player, because most of the problems are happening with consoles, whatever they do fix on consoles should at least help performance for those playing on PC. Matt also talked about memory fragmentation, especially on console. Even if a console like PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X has enough RAM on paper, fragmentation can prevent it from allocating larger memory chunks, which in turn causes crashes and poor texture loading. Consoles are the primary focus right now, but any improvements will also benefit PC. I want to reiterate again. I just want this game to go to DirectX 12. I don't know what it will take. I don't know how possible it is, but I just feel like a lot more can improve with the performance of the game if they did make that switch, but I don't know how hard it would be for them to do that. They also brought up Unreal Engine 5. It doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon, but we'll get into that a little further in the video. Up next for PC players is the addition of the brand new mod manager and HTTP API, now targeting release this month in May. This will help support third-party mods and integration tools, including stuff like Arduino setups. There's no firm date, but we are getting close. You'll also be able to do more with hardware thanks to the upcoming API, which is shipping alongside the mod manager. This is going to open the door for third-party tools and Arduino-based setups to communicate with the game in real time. So what that means in practical terms is if you've got a custom-built control panel, physical switchboard, LED speedometer, or even like a homemade throttle lever or something, you could use an Arduino microcontroller to sync that hardware with your in-game actions. So when you brake, flip a switch, or accelerate in-game, your physical panel can respond and vice versa. This is something the PC community has been asking for years. More open access to data like throttle state, brake position, signal aspects, and speed limits. The API would finally make that possible by letting external devices pull or push that kind of data live. This is a game changer, and I'm kind of surprised it's taken this long to come to TSW. But it's not just for advanced users either. With enough community support, we could see plug and play overlays, button boxes, or integrated integration tools start popping up that make it easier than ever to build or buy your own sim setup. There were questions asked about the Richmond extension status, and as for that extension, there is no new update this month. Johannes is still working on it, but the devs said it'll likely be a few months before we hear more. A few bug reports came up as well during the Q&A. There's this annoying issue where the service overlay says on foot even when you're actively driving. That was supposed to be fixed, but the fix didn't fully work. Matt says that it's back with the team for a complete solution. Also, not just that, but also the scores being available in that timetable overlay. They're not there anymore. You have to go to the pause menu and move to the schedule section in order to see them, so I hope they're aware of that as well, assuming they are. Also, the Creators Club UI bug that blanks out filter options is still on the list to be fixed, but memory-related fixes are taking priority for now. So one question that came up, will the new DBBR430 replace the BR423 on Frankfurt Fulda's Hanau branch? The answer is no. They said adding the 430 would worsen memory issues on that route, so it is not being layered in. If you're still waiting for the new Köln-Aachen timetable update on console or Epic Games, it is still being tested. Matt says that they want to make sure it doesn't add more instability before rolling it out beyond Steam, which honestly I can understand. Steam players are the beta testers right now, and with the accidental push on 8th gen consoles, I guess so are they. There were no updates yet from Skyhook on the Class 158 timetable, no new fixes yet for passengers failing to spawn at London Euston on West Coast Mainline South as well, but the team did say they're reviewing passenger behavior in general, which we all know needs a lot of work right now. Most of the runs I do, and it always happens to be in conductor mode, there are no passengers on the platforms at all, so it ends up being just a really dry and boring run. The Great Western Express remaster is still on the way. There's nothing new to share date-wise, but with the GWR license back in their hands, the team is working on it currently. So that's always good news. They also gave a look into how far ahead they plan content. Internally, Dovetail has a very solid plan for about a year ahead, with rough outlines up to 3 or 4 years out. But those plans shift based on new licenses, survey data, and what the community is asking for. A great example would be the Netherlands route. Zwolle to Groningen was a direct result of community survey feedback. The Netherlands ranked highest in almost every region outside the US, UK, and Germany, so Dovetail adjusted their plans and built a route there. I've been wondering why we haven't been seeing as many surveys. I honestly wish they pushed one out every month just to see how the topics of what players want to see change or maybe don't change. I remember several years ago they were polling about random events or dynamic events in timetable mode. That was so long ago, and since they're planning out years ahead, hopefully that's coming soon. I doubt it, but let me keep dreaming. Now for conductor mode. The devs said they love it, but don't expect older routes to be retrofitted with new features like that. The catalog is massive, and going back to add things like suspension improvements or guard mode to old routes would be a huge amount of work. I personally expected them to avoid this, so I'm a little shocked that they have gone back to update certain things when I didn't think that would happen at all. So I definitely don't think people should have that expectation. It would be nice though as a surprise if they have extra time on their hands. They also clarified why certain new routes are Gen 9 only. So in short, it comes down to performance, obviously. Frankfurt S-Bahn, for example, is way too large and complex to run on Gen 8 due to the track mileage, underground lighting, and memory overhead. The same applies to Manchester Airport Commuter. They don't want to leave Gen 8 players behind, but in some cases the content just physically can't run well enough to be viable. And ultimately, they have to make that call to say, no, it's not happening. I'm gonna be honest, I was planning some sort of unpopular Train Sim World opinions video. I don't think I'm gonna do it at this point because I don't think I have enough to talk about, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Gen 8 needs to go. I am so shocked they're still supporting it this long, and I think we all know the reason why is because it makes up a big chunk of their paying customers, and Dovetail needs money. They're a business. They have to make money to make content, so I can actually see them going forward and doing some routes as Gen 9 only, or some that support Gen 8 and kind of, flip-flopping and working on bigger routes and then smaller routes to kind of keep everyone in the loop. I personally don't think they're going to drop Gen 8 for TSW6, but I think they should, and I think they should have done it a long time ago. We have an update on New York Trenton. I am so shocked to read this. I would have never thought. It has been years. I really just thought they had given up with this. They weren't gonna bother with it, but great news for the route. A fix for the rogue alerter issue on New York Trenton is now in testing. Matt says that one of the beta testers ran the route for 9 hours straight with no alarms. There is no release date yet at this moment, but it is coming, so hopefully in one of the future patches. It kind of just seems too good to be true. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Kind of shifting gears back to performance again. Micro stuttering isn't being directly addressed yet, but Matt said fixes to memory churn and fragmentation, which is what we talked about earlier on in the video, may indirectly help this issue. One instance on PS5 involved constant memory reallocation that caused fragmentation. That fix is now in testing, and if it works, stutters could improve as a side effect. And I'm hoping this also carries over to PC too, because we do experience stutters as well. Now, towards the end of the stream, the topic of Unreal Engine 5 was brought up, and Dovetail Games made it clear no Switch is planned. This is a big topic, I feel like, every couple of months, and has been happening more and more as the performance of this game continues to fall out of line, not to mention the atrocious lighting that we receive on some of these routes. But while Unreal Engine 5 does have some cool features like Lumen and Nanite, which were brought up by Matt specifically, actually taking advantage of them would require a total rebuild of the game. Matt explains that porting over from Unreal Engine 4 wouldn't magically improve anything. It would still look and run like an Unreal Engine 4 game, and probably worse. Matt also explained that Unreal Engine 5 features don't currently play well with trains. For example, Nanite doesn't work on skeletal meshes, which is what all trains are. They're interested in the tech and the building skills in-house, but for now, TSW is staying on Unreal Engine 4, which still has untapped potential. So I think we gotta stop asking for this because it's just not gonna happen, as much as some of us want it to. So that's gonna be everything that they revealed in the live stream that wasn't in the official roadmap post. Let me know which of these updates stood out the most to you and what you guys think on the current progress for performance issues, and not just on consoles, but for PC as well. Personally, I'm looking forward to the New York Trenton alerter fix and the API. I cannot wait to see what is made with that API. I know in Train Sim Classic we have RW Enhancer. I wanna see something like that for Train Sim World. I would die for it. But that's gonna be it from me. I'll be back with more coverage as soon as we get any sort of brand new patch or live stream or the next roadmap next month in June. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and happy rail simming.